Hello, y'all. We now have Lit Club here, and this today I am joined by ADHD and Stand Ready, two of the more prominent members of Lit Club. So if you want to say hi, go for it.
Hello.
Hello again, everyone. It is good to be back.
Anyways, without further ado, here is their predictions for the playoffs. So starting off, we have Week 10, the TSQA versus CO, and OAM versus Lit Club. So if you guys want to go through and talk about pretty much all your picks, we can just go for it.
All right. Well, I'll talk on the OAM Lit Club one because that one was the least contentious when we were going over this. So when we lost to OAM in week one, it was 99% due to internet problems in game two. And I feel like if we don't have me having to lag out 3 times in one game, we win. So I just think we beat them. Although Feathers and Fur is probably better than Shushi was, so there is a chance that still lose, but I give us the edge of that.
Yeah, I actually think this is one of the ones that'll probably look controversial, but actually isn't controversial in my opinion. I just haven't been impressed by OAM from the very beginning. They keep somehow winning, so maybe I'm missing something, but I haven't thought that they're all that good. I think that we got a pretty favorable bracket, to be honest. Like this is the teams. If I would have picked the teams I wanted to run into that are seated higher than us, OAM and Leeson would have been the teams I would have preferred to avoid. TSQ and CO. Um, so I think we got pretty lucky with this.
Okay.
We'll see though.
And then
And
quickly
then
touch
for
on the other
the
matchup, the TSQA versus CO.
this was pretty split in the call when we were going over this. Of like half of us wanted TSQA, half of us wanted CO. Personally, I think TSQA wins it, but Collective has been on the upsurge, so I honestly feel like this goes either way.
Yeah, I'll my comment on this was that like first off I want to make it clear that like I think all of these are kind of like coin flippy to some extent. I think every team in this league can beat every other team. So I would expect these to look a lot like people's ruined March Madness bowls, and that there's going to be weird upsets all around. That being said, TSQA is one of those teams that I rated really highly, but then I watched them lose to Leeson last week pretty badly, and Leeson is a team that I don't think is super solid. I think they're okay, but they're not like the best. So my opinion of them dropped a lot. I would have actually voted for CO personally. I was one of the split people on that, but I also don't know a lot about CO, so it's kind of hard to say for that one.
Yeah. Then moving on, we got week 11. So now we have the introduction to the losers bracket. So now we have 4 games going on. So we want to briefly touch on the other three and then talk more in detail about yours. Let's go for it.
All right, so Rockport versus TSQA. I do know TSQA was the only team to beat Rockport, but I still think Rockport is the best team in the league right now. So I don't see TSQA winning again. Lisa Near Heart versus us. I didn't play in that week for internet problems again, so I would like to think that me playing would help, but there's also a chance we still lose because we're not perfect.
Yeah, I
TSQ,
actually,
go ahead,
I
go ahead.
just wanted to comment on this. I'm actually more afraid of Leeson than I am OAM. Even though I think Leeson is overrated, I do think that they have some things going for them. So I think that that's a team that could easily beat some of the better teams. I don't think they're as good as they were, but I still think that they have some things going for them. So I'm more afraid of them than I am OAM. But hopefully we
Definitely.
get the chance to place or face them again.
TSQBB versus Collective. While I do love the people on TSQBB, I see no way they beat Collective as of right now.
Yeah, I don't
I'd
think so
like to
either.
imagine they could, but I don't think it's happening.
I somehow hope that we end up with a TSQBB versus HN game because my hottest take is that I think HN is the worst team in the league. Sorry, Dory, but I think that they're the only team that TSQBB could beat.
It'd be an interesting matchup. And then
Yep.
Hibernation versus OAM. With it, what Anthony just said, he thinks Hibernation is the worst team in the league. I don't think they're the worst. I'm not gonna say who I think the worst is. It's not TSQB though. Uh, and then OAM is just definitely a better team than Hibernation.
Yeah, and that'll take it. Then we got week 12. So now we're starting to look a little further, but let's just keep going. So one game in the winners bracket. You have Rockport versus Lit Club, not Leeson. And you guys have Rockport taking this one. What's up with that?
They're
We we
Rockport.
we haven't had we just got smacked by Rockport, and I don't think that we've solved our issues as a team yet to beat a team like Rockport. And if we're going to, we need more time. So I don't think that's a hot take. It's a little unfortunate, but I think that in order for us to beat Rockport, we need to change some things, and we are working on that. So it is possible, but for right now, we'll see how it goes.
And then with Collective versus TSQA, I think since TSQA is the only team that beat Rockport, after they presumably lose to Rockport, their mental's just gonna smashed, and then Collective will wash them this time.
They're gonna learn from their mistakes.
That's a pretty
Yeah.
bold statement to say. Taking off the
Yep.
I think number 2 seed right off the bat.
Yeah.
Yep.
And
I don't
then
know.
OAM.
TSQA looked shaky last week. Maybe that's not indicative of them as a team, but from my little bit of evidence that I have, they don't look nearly as good.
And then OAM Lee Sin. I think Anthony, what was it that you said when we were talking about this one?
I said that Lee Sin is more consistent and like has some things going for them. OAM's strongest point are just like their solo laners are good from what I've seen, or their top laner is good, and then the rest of it is just kind of like they win through just like lane domination. But maybe I'm out of the loop with them, so I can't really comment too much more on that.
Fair enough,
All
fair
right.
enough. And I do believe that Oasis and Listen to Your Heart just played recently, unless I'm mistaken.
I don't
And
remember
that
the
was a
one.
closer game when they did play. So
Yeah, I'm pretty sure OAM won. I think Lee Sin has lost most of their recent games.
yeah,
I'm
Yeah,
not positive on that though.
but I think once they have more reps in, by week 12 they should. I think that there'd be a formidable force.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Ban Diana. Don't let Wiggy play Diana or whatever. We watched that one game. We watched that one game on stream where he missed like 4 Diana ults and everybody just kind of laughed and then nobody bans it.
Oh yeah,
And
Lee Sin beat OAM.
yeah,
did they?
yeah.
Yeah,
So
Oh yeah.
okay, yeah,
I think
makes
they can
sense
do it
then.
again.
The repeat. Then week 13, Collective Odyssey versus Lee Sin. You have Collective Odyssey winning, so this is a huge upset here. This is number 2 seed dropping out.
Okay, I don't think this is an upset because both of these teams basically rebuilt their entire rosters. Collectives just had more time. I think
Okay.
they'll work better together than Lee Sin will.
Yeah, it
Yep.
makes sense. But do you
I
think?
also don't know that much about Collective other than they beat some good teams.
Yeah, their mid
So
laner
Like they,
YOLO swag is really good. And they have a couple nice good players on their team with some good synergy. Um, but Listen to Your Heart's been coming back recently with their new roster, so if this
yeah,
does
they've
happen, it will be an interesting game.
they beat um TSQBB in a 2-1, which is not promising.
that was
They
early on though.
they beat TSQA, which is promising. That was good for them. And then they lost to I think 2 teams, right? After losing Razor.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, so those were early on, so maybe they've had some time to figure out. And their new ADC seems to be pretty good, so um hard to say.
Yeah.
Yes, it is. Week 14, the only game of the week. We have Lit Club versus Collective. And after all the Collective's done, beat the top couple teams, you think you still have what it takes to beat them.
We're leveling up.
Yeah, we're leveling up.
Look how much time there is between now and then. So if if I'm gonna talk about our own team right now, what I would say is that we are a sloppy team with potential. I think that right now it would be ridiculous for us to say or justify beating most of the top teams because I don't think that we're capable of that right now. However, I think the way the bracket works out, we actually have a lot of time to level up and seriously practice and get better because I think the teams that don't have potential are the teams that can't get leads early without any team play. Like they just win lane, win game, and we're good at that. What we aren't good at is translating that into wins, and that's something that you can work on with practice. So we have the fundamentals that we need to win. We just need to work on our team play and sometimes drafting to kind of enable what we want to do. And I think unlike a lot of teams, we use the regular season as kind of like a practice ground to figure out what works for us and what doesn't, which is why you see weird drafts from us because we want to see what works and what doesn't. And if we're able to play around like different strategies like split pushing and things like that. So I think that we've had a lot of time to practice and improve. And I think that as long as we continue that, we are capable of beating any team in this league as long as we keep working at it. And that would be my evaluation of us as a team. And if I were coaching another team against us, I would be concerned about playing us just because of the volatile nature of our team, and that I think more so than other teams, we're capable of beating the best teams on a good day, but we're sometimes also capable of losing to teams that maybe we shouldn't. So I think the team should be worried about us because of that.
Yeah, and you only go to prove it by saying
Yep.
you're gonna win the entire thing against your match versus Rockport. What's up with that? That's the
All right.
repeat coming out there from week number
So
12.
with what
This is a
Kian
theme.
said,
This is a theme. Yeah.
with what like Kian, our jungler, he said by the time we reach week 15, we should have enough practice with all the other matches and all the other practices we do that we should at least be able to beat Rock once. And as long as that one time is in finals, it doesn't matter.
Yep. That's a theme. Growth. There
Yeah,
you go.
Growth.
and I believe that in oh my gosh, what is it? The match results on the spreadsheet page. It's pretty obvious that you guys have been improving over the weeks. I mean, I
Well,
believe it was a rough start, and you got better.
so
You're looking better and better as the weeks go on.
So I think that we got our like super in realizing we're not good moment early in the season, which is good for us because it kind of like shakes some people awake and says, hey, this is why we need to practice more. This is why we need to like level up as a team and figure out what really works for us because we had that moment earlier than a lot of teams, I think, which was good for us. And I think that the recent Rockport game shows that even though we lost that game, I think that we looked like we were on the same level. It just a few stupid decisions like really threw the game. So I honestly believe that in the two Rockport games, we were one or two like really bad decisions as a team from being competitive in that game. So I think if we clean up just those kind of small things, that we are capable of beating teams like Rockport. I'm not sure how Rockport would evaluate those games, but we definitely threw into them a couple times, and that's not an excuse because those are forced errors. But I think if we fix those kind of mistakes, that we are capable of beating better teams.
Yeah. Would you be willing to take a little guess at what the final result of that game would be? I believe it's a best of 5.
Best of 5.
I believe
I
it's a best of
honestly
5.
think it goes to 5 games. I think it goes 5.
You think 3-2 is the result?
Yep.
Yeah,
Dang.
yeah.
I
I think that we're just one of those teams that would be able to cheese wins. Even if Rockport was clearly better than us, I think that we would be able to cheese one win just using a kind of weird strategy that we've kind of got away with in the regular season. And because of that, I think that we're a team that could sometimes be good in best of 5s because we have more time to adapt. Um, but it's
think
hard to
about
say
like
because we
when
don't really have that much experience.
like Cloud9 reverse swept TSM in the lock-in tournament.
Mhm.
We're gonna do that. Yeah,
Dang.
that's my prediction. We're gonna reverse sweep Rockport.
Reverse sweep Rockport. Well, you
Oh
heard
yeah.
it here. You heard it here
And if
first.
we
Yeah.
don't, no one will be surprised that I'm wrong.
Yeah, it's one of those things you can say. And if you're right, you look awesome. And if you're wrong, I mean, it's Rockport.
No one's gonna care because who would have expected?
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, good luck to y'all on your couple games. First game is Sunday at 7:30 EST, I believe, unless that's changed. I don't think it
No.
has.
I don't think it is.
We haven't done anything about pitching it, so nope.
I'd assume not. Anyways, good luck for that game. And the rest of your series, and yeah, we'll keep checking in on you guys as long as you guys keep winning and progressing in. So
Yep.
yeah, thanks for your time.
Yep. Thank you.
Have fun.
Hello and welcome to the second team that we're interviewing for the prediction brackets. Today I'm joined by, well, not really today. This time I'm joined by Rockport, more specifically Jable and Sean Bear. So if y'all want to say hi, go for it.
What's up? How's it going? Jables.
This is Sean Bear, captain of Rockport.
And that is them. So let's take a look at their prediction bracket. Starting off the first week, we have TSQA and CO against OAM Lit Club. And if you all want to take it away, go for it.
You can take this one, Billy. I don't know too much about this.
So we picked the way we did all of our predictions, by the way, is I just put each matchup in our Discord and the 7 active players on our roster voted, and as soon as a team got 4 votes, that means they were going to have majority, and then we moved through it. So some of these aren't necessarily my picks or Sean's picks, but just a collective pick. So Collective Odyssey against TSQA, we picked Collective Odyssey to win that. We really feel that Collective Odyssey is a really good team. They kind of gave us some of our hardest matches since we did our role swaps to our main roles. They had us on the ropes in back-to-back games. So we think they're a pretty good team. They're a little inconsistent, but we think they're a very good team. So we actually picked them over TSQA. I think TSQA is going to have a lot to show us regarding their ADC position now that they have a new AD carry. So that's what we did on that one. And then Oasis and Lit Club. We just played Lit Club recently. I think we were really impressed with the plan that they had. They definitely had they put in some time preparing for the match, and they came out with some unique ideas. We just don't think that those ideas are very good ideas. They are unique, but they're not very good. And so we think Oasis is going to handle Lit Club pretty easily. I think Oasis has one of probably the best top jungle duo in the league, and so that matches up really well against Lit Club.
Yeah, that'll do it for the first week. Then we have the real first week of playoffs, because that's kind of the intro/play-ins kind of section. In the winners bracket, we have you guys yourself versus Oasis, and then Listen to Your Heart versus Collective Odyssey. You want to talk about those for a little bit?
Yeah, so just given our bracket predictions, if it is true, then as Billy said earlier, Collective Odyssey, like in our series against them, we were down 6K gold, and they had an Ocean Soul, and we kind of stole that game out from under them. And the other game wasn't easy either, so it was a really close series. So if they go on to win against TSQA in the first round, we'll probably delay that for as long as possible. And then against just taking like kind of the lower seed there, Oasis, they did pull out some tricky stuff against us, but it's also kind of hard to perform or just easy to ban out. So they're gonna have to like just kind of cheese us or trick us into doing something that we don't normally do, but we pretty much do the same thing all season long, and no one's really consistently given us much of a challenge. So until people figure that out, we don't have to change, and we'll keep on beating them. Not that we don't have anything else we can do, just
I mean, you
we're
already swapped your
better than them.
entire roster around to different roles, so I'd say you guys have the most diverse section already, so I don't really think you need
Yeah,
to
and
worry
on
about
that
that.
point, we're going to go through 3 different patches in this playoffs, so I doubt many of these other teams have as much depth as our players do.
Yes. Then moving on to the losers bracket section, we got the first time we see TSQBB in hibernation.
I think we didn't discuss the Listen to Your Heart versus Collective Odyssey series.
Oh, you're right. My
I
bad.
think that's a really big one. So the voting in our Discord on that one was a 4-3 split with Listen to Your Heart beating Collective Odyssey. It's the jury's still out on that one, right? Because they have a new AD carry, and they actually got smacked by Collective Odyssey a few weeks ago at 2-0, and it wasn't very close. But then they looked really good against TSQA on Tuesday, so it's kind of hard to know. Like I think that Young Mashu is kind of just as good as Razor Leaf. Kind of a lateral move there, and then Wiggy has been really proficient on certain mid laners, and so I think Leads Into Your Heart could be really good, but I know Collective Odyssey also can be really good. I think both of these teams are good enough to be one of the best teams any week, but they're also bad enough on a bad game that they could lose to anybody. So I think that's a very interesting series, but we picked Listen to Your Heart to take that one.
Sounds good. And now, officially, we're in the losers bracket with TSQBB and Hibernation having their first games. And you guys have them both pretty much dropping out right away.
Yeah, I mean, I'll speak on the first match. TSQBB, TSQA, we picked TSQA to win that because TSQBB is just a bunch of friends trying to have fun together, not actually trying to win. So I think they've had a great couple of months and got to have a lot of fun, but it's pretty. I don't think that winning this league is something they're very serious about. So I don't think they're going to be able to pull off that series, unfortunately. And then we don't. I think it's been a very long time since we played against Hibernation, so I don't know how much real information we have on Hibernation. Do you know anything about that team, Sean?
Yeah, the only thing I consider is it's kind of a toss-up between Hibernation and Lit Club. Either one of those teams can beat each other, I think. So I think they should both come prepared for each other and hopefully get to the next round.
Sounds good. And yeah, Hibernation and Lit Club are definitely can can definitely have a chance of beating each other. So that's almost guaranteed to be a coin flip. Um, Lit Club has some really good games and has some really, really bad others. So that'll be an interesting game if it does come into play like that. Moving on, we got the next week, which is week 12. We only got 3 games, 1 winners, 2 losers. If you want to talk about them all?
Oh,
Uh,
we're in the winners bracket. I think it's obviously biased here, but I think it's also true in this circumstance. Is that they've made some changes. I think they deserve to be in the winners bracket up to this point, but they're gonna have to make their way back to the finals in the losers bracket.
yeah, I think we've been able to of these top teams. Rockport has had the most consistent lineup and roster, and on top of that, we're playing another league as well with a similar roster, so we got a lot of familiarity and reps. Whereas a lot of these other teams are still kind of incorporating new parts. So I like our odds against pretty much everybody. Jumping down into the loser bracket, TSQA and Oasis, I think that could be a very, very good series. Um, we in our Discord, I think we voted Oasis to win that one. Um, I think that Oasis plays really well through their um, top side of their map, through Feathers and whoever jungles for them. I know that sometimes Kappa does, sometimes Zill69 does. And then TSQA is also a very top side focus with Chocolatey and Arcerio. I think Arcerio is one of the better players in this league, but I just don't think that. I just feel like Oasis has more on the bot side of the map to match up with TSQA. So I think they're going to both try to play through top side, but I just have more confidence in the. If Oasis plays Kappa Crusader anywhere in their lineup, I have more confidence in Oasis over TSQA.
Yeah, Lit Club and CO, I think that's very hard matchup for Lit Club to pull off. So CO should be able to take that one pretty handedly.
Yeah, makes sense. Moving on, we only got 1 game for week number 13. However, this one's a weird one, looking at what you have so far. You said CO comes out on top of Oasis, but you also having Oasis, it all comes back in CO technically should lose this matchup, shouldn't they, based off what you picked it? Right, 'cause you said OAM. Am I going crazy? You said
Yeah, no,
OAM.
we haven't picked this specific matchup yet, OAM and CO yet. We
No, no, I'm
picked
just
TS.
looking at what you put before.
Yeah, I think it's I think for me on this one, OAM versus CO. Like I said, OAM likes to play around topside.
Mhm.
And I think that CO has a very, very good bot lane and a very good mid lane. And I think they're going to be able to neutralize the top side. And with the current meta, um, I think that the mid laner for CO is just going to carry the series.
Yeah.
Forget the
Swag.
guy's
I
name.
think his name is Yellow
Very
Swag,
good.
if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, Yellow Swag.
He's
Vigar
been,
player, he's very good. And then Egginog, underrated player. Egginog, one of the top few players in this league as well.
yeah, he's a very good player. Now, the next matchup, we got week 14. So Listen to Your Heart versus CO. And you
Yeah,
have
this is
CO winning here, coming from all the way from the bottom to the top.
it's a rematch, right, of the second week, but the alternate winner here, which yeah, it's pretty hard.
So
You
what
know,
changes?
I think it was just originally just kind of could go either way as well. So it's if you lose to a team, you can maybe make the adjustments needed and come back prepared. If you beat a team, then you have maybe less things to look at. So if CO takes this, the next 3 weeks seriously after losing to them, maybe getting an extra scrim in each week, then they can turn that around to Lisa into your heart. Could go either way, really, as it did in the upper bracket. So
I
Yes.
think for me, my opinion on this is that CO outside of our team has the most talented roster, and they should have beat us on talent, but their macro was really bad, and so we were able to win on macro. They went for two really bad Baron plays, and we were able to win the games off of stuff like that. So I think given 5 weeks from now of getting to play together and maybe, like Sean said, getting some scrims and practice in, if this team can get their macro figured out, then they can beat Listen to Your Heart. I think maybe right now they're going to make more of those kind of dumb decisions and bad plays, and that's why they would win. Sorry, they would lose to Listen early in the playoffs. But if they can clean some of that up with a few extra weeks of practice, they're a very dangerous team.
Yeah, makes sense. And then we got the finals. The last game, Rockport, you guys, yourself versus CO. And you guys saying you're going to take it. Well, I'd say it's a bad thing to have too much confidence, but you guys are the number 1 seed right now, so. What do you think is going to go into this game? How do you think the results are going to be?
it's going to be perhaps a lot closer than most people think. 'Cause we're a 1 seed, and then 4 patches from now, a lot of things can change. CO just has played a bunch of best of fives and has more reps on best of fives than we do at this point. And we just came off like a 2 week kind of break, so to speak, to get to the finals. That being considered, the other side is that we just saw them play 2 best of fives, see what they're about, and how much can they actually change in 1 week to the next. We'll have a lot of information, a lot of preparation done before we play them, and I think that's going to be one of the major keys outside of just in-game stuff. Is we'll know what they want to bring to the table, and we can counter that, and have a lot of time to do that.
Yeah, there's not much they can hide having to play almost 10 games of League in 2 weeks. A lot of footage to review. So do you guys have a prediction for the final score in this one? I believe it's a best of 5, so 3 games wins it.
3-0.
3-0, the sweep.
Yeah, we're not going to drop a game in playoffs.
Not going to drop a game in playoffs. Look at that. That's a heck of a prediction.
Might not die all playoff season.
Might
I
not
wouldn't go
die.
that far, but yeah, I think if we lose more than 1 game, that'll be disappointing. I think if I'll give us a buffer of 1, but if we lose 2, that's a
Let's
problem.
do this. If you go with the entire playoffs without dying, I'll give you the genius roll. We'll go for it.
Oh,
Yes,
man.
obviously you're doing
That's
something
the
right.
coveted genius roll.
Give me
Only
the
one-
coveted genius roll on my
only-
favorite Discord server. Holy.
Only one person's got it. It's actually JJ too, which is really dumb considering he's not a genius, but we're not going to talk about that. But yeah, if you guys have any smack you want to talk, here's your chance.
There's a reason why I'm not in the trash talk channel. It's because I don't really care what a bunch of adolescents say. I'm not gonna waste time. I'm 30 years old. I don't care. We're
Fair
gonna
enough.
we're gonna bring all the trash talk on game day and show it in our play. So beat us there. You don't need to trash talk us.
Works for me. Anyways, y'all, thanks for coming out. And good luck in your playoffs. You guys do have a nice little break this weekend. So you do get to watch some other games, take some notes, and prepare for your
Yep.
week 2 of playoffs. But good luck, and hey, if your bracket comes true, good luck picking the entire thing without losing a game.
Will do.
Thanks, Neptune.
Thank you, Neptune.
Peace out, y'all.
Yep.
Hello. Once again, it is Neptune Rises, and today, well, not today, I've said this every time now, and I don't mean to say it. This time I'm joined by Collective Odyssey, more specifically B. Morris, Danger Davis, and YOLO Swag for the win. You all want to say hi? Go for it.
What's going on, guys? So more specifically, Danger Davis is the coach, Yellow Swag is the mid laner, Morris is the top laner.
They really like their specifics. Anyways,
Yeah.
going right into the prediction that was sent to me. Here it is. Looking straight off to week 10 to start it off. We have TSQA versus CO and OAM versus Lit Club. And if you guys want to talk about the matchups, go right ahead.
Did we beat them already?
No, so I'll preface this by saying we have the current top laner and mid laner. I don't believe have played against TSQA. The first 3 or so weeks of this league, we were using a different top laner and a different mid laner. So you guys, specifically Morris and YOLO, have never really played against TSQA. We've played against TSQBB, who is, I believe, last place or 7th place in the bracket. But you guys have never played TSQA. The first game the first time we did lose, but that was also because it's basically a rebuilt roster. We have a different top jungle and mid now. Bot lane is consistent. But I don't see TSQA being a problem because I think that this team has what it takes to beat top teams, and it was evident through their games with Rockport. Unfortunately, they didn't pull out with Rockport because there was just the whole being new to being a team issue. But I feel like this TSQA shouldn't be a problem for CO. We have played OAM and Lit Club. OAM obviously is the better team in my opinion. They're even seeded higher. We played OAM and they took a game off of us. So I mean they're a pretty good team. I think they'll beat Lit Club, who I think we 2-0'd Lit Club, if I remember correctly. But that's only the first 2 games. Anything else anyone wants to add?
No, I'll beat them.
I'll beat them.
Hey, you gotta get your win somehow. So, week 11 is the start of the winners bracket and the losers bracket both playing at the same time. Winners bracket matchups, we have Rockport versus CO in your predictions, and Listen to Your Heart versus Oasis. So, you guys want to go for those?
They've played both the teams, so if you guys want to say anything about those are the last 2 teams we played the last 2 weeks.
Yeah, that's Northwolf's your top laner, I'm pretty sure, right?
I believe so.
Yeah, Northwolf is the top laner for Rockport.
Yeah, that was unlucky last time. I'm gonna make sure, yeah. He's just getting carried by his team, honestly.
So I guess the games versus Rockport, we lost the series 2-0, but we beat ourselves essentially because we were up both games and we just weren't playing our best games there. So I feel like on the rematches we'll be able to keep the leads and take them down. I don't know. We have Yellow Swag in the mid lane, so I don't think he really loses lane. So I don't see them being an issue, especially since they've had some switches with their mid laners. They've gone back and forth. Anything you want to say, YOLO?
No.
Besides, you're just gonna stomp them.
It hasn't said anything.
Yellow's just giving the silent treatment. It's okay.
He's sounds like deadly, dude. That's all you have to know about him.
Fair enough. As long as he keeps playing mid lane the way he has been, I don't think anyone's complaining either, though. So.
Yeah. Listen to Your Heart and OAM. I mean, who do you guys think is better between these two? I thought that Listen to Your Heart was a better team than OAM.
Dude, I can't, honestly, I don't think I played against the Listen to Your Heart team.
Yeah, we did. That was a game we played 2 weeks ago. We played OAM last week, and then we played. Were you playing? Yeah, you were playing against Listen to Your Heart. I'm pretty sure you were. But either way, Listen to Your Heart, I believe, gave us a bigger issue. And previously, Listen to Your Heart, I believe, if I'm correct, Don't quote me on this, but I'm pretty sure they also beat OAM before. So I think that the reason I put the brackets like this is because I think Rockport will choose Collective Odyssey, thinking that Collective Odyssey is the lower seeded teams. Because out of the 4 teams that would be remaining in the winners bracket, Collective Odyssey would be the worst one in terms of seeding wise. So I think they try to just play us instead of playing a harder team. And then I think that Least Into Your Heart and OAM, Least Into Your Heart would just win, which is why I put the winners bracket out there. And the losers bracket, TSQBB is like I just don't think they're really going to beat anyone. I think they'll just get they'll get eliminated at the beginning, and that's that. And TSQA is obviously better than them because TSQA is like I think the number 2 or 3 team. And then I put Lit Club because Lit Club is also higher seeded. I'm not really sure about HN. That's another team I'm pretty sure we played before everyone was together. So I think that Lit Club's just a better team there. Anything you guys want to add?
No, you said it pretty well, honestly.
Yeah.
Danger over here giving lectures about these games. Holy.
Well,
I'll tell you, it's a coach, you know. This is my
Yeah,
job just
I'm the
to
one-
just to beat the other meatball in the top lane. So
Coach stiff, dude.
Feels that.
I'm the one who looked into their 16 or so past games, so I have an idea of what they play. I don't have their rosters right in front of me, otherwise I would go more into that. Plus, it'd just take too long. But just from the overall vibe I got from their team play and watching them play, I just feel like those are the teams I picked were just the better teams. And if you want to go into week 12, I think unless anyone else has anything they want to add, we can go into week 12.
Did you finish the losers bracket?
Yeah, I said Lit
Okay.
Club will be HN because HM and TSQBB, I'm pretty sure are the lower seeded brackets. And I don't remember playing HM, but Lit Club was a decent team. I'm pretty sure we went 2-1 against them or 1-2. I don't remember if we beat them. But I think that they're a better team than them in general. But I don't see them really going too far, but I know they're better than them in terms of Lit Club. I don't think Lit Club's going to go past the week 12, to be honest.
are any of these best of 5s?
I believe all of these are best of 5s.
Oh, okay.
I could be wrong, so don't quote me on that, but I haven't checked the rules for playoffs in a couple of days or weeks. Not really weeks. A couple of days. But week 12, what you guys were talking about. CO versus Least Into Your Heart's the only match played in the winners bracket. You guys have yourself taking that one. Do you guys have a specific plan to win this one? Because I know Least Into Your Heart's one of the better teams. They're took the second seed right now.
Yeah, well, they're the second seed, but they just lost to us like a week ago. So, and it was a pretty bad loss. The second game was only because we just weren't playing with our head in our game. And so we got it back once they lost the first one. I mean, we beat them. We can beat them again. I don't think there's a team that Collective Odyssey can't beat when they're playing their game. It's just a matter of, are they going to be in their game, which I think they will because now they've had a couple weeks to actually play together. And I mean, I think you guys have only lost like what, 1 or 2 game or matches since you have the full team and the coach. I know you guys lost like beforehand before you guys all joined. They were 0-3, and now I think you're like only lost 1 match. I think against Rockport or something like that. So I don't see there being many teams that can beat them, and we just beat Lisa into your heart, and I think we can just beat them again.
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah, I would just mid-diff, honestly.
Yeah, people better watch out. I'm not gonna give it away, but there's a certain champion that he's been playing that everyone sleeps on.
It's Delia.
Wait, what champion? I don't even know which champion.
It's mid-nectin.
Yeah,
Mid-Nectin.
I'm not gonna give away any secret sauces here.
You max E
everyone...
first on Mid-Nectin. That's the play.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna give away the secret sauce, but there's a certain champ that he's been kind of shitting on everyone on. Pardon my language, but you know what I mean. I just feel like if it has to go to there, it will go to that, and then it's just a free win. So, because no one's banned it yet, and I'm not gonna give it away for the fact if I don't want anything getting out. As much as I love you, Neptune, I don't know how many people you talk to, so I'm gonna keep it between the
You keep that secret. This is going public.
Yeah, I know. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, you keep this quiet, man.
I'm not going to give away the secret
It's
sauce.
Minrenekton, just in case anybody knows it's Minrenekton.
Yeah, it's maxing R
level
first. Yeah.
Yeah.
Maxing R
You don't know
first,
what-
level 1, 2, and 3. You gotta get that R upgraded because the level 3 rank R is a little strong. A lot of magic
Yeah,
damage. You go
it's
full
the
80
Owen
AP.
Renekton power spike.
0 and 10, you mean 0 and 20? I mean, you gotta get there first.
I mean, it's like Yasuo, 0 and 10, 2 and 10. The faster you turbo int, and then you win.
There you go.
Yeah.
Gotta get the quick backs.
And then in terms of TSQA and Rockport, I'm pretty sure TSQA beat them last time for Rockport, but I think that Rockport overall is a better team. I think Rockport will win. And then between OAM and Lit Club, OAM is just a higher seeded team, and I don't think Lit Club is that good of a team. I think they're a good team, but I don't think they're a team that will be able to beat OAM or a team like Rockport. So that's why I have Rockport versus OAM in Week 13 being the only matchup.
Fair
So
enough.
that's what I got going on with that. And then, I guess there's only one matchup in Week 13.
Yep, Week 13 fortunately only had the one matchup. It's a little weird how we have it set up, but I think we're gonna keep it like this for now, just because it's been this way the entire time. But the Rockport versus OAM, so that's another repeat match. I think all these are actually, now that I say that. But this is another one of the higher seeds playing each other, and you guys have Rockport taking it.
Yeah, I
They
think
beat
that
us.
Rockport beat us, and Listen to Your Heart wasn't really much of a team that I think had they're a good team, but I don't think that they're better than Rockport, and Rockport has been pretty consistent throughout the league. And I think Listen to Your Heart has less less threats. I feel like Rockport had, some good players in terms of carrying a game. I didn't feel like Listen to Your Heart had like a single player that was like watch out for them. I think they had some good all around well-rounded players and they played well together. But Rockport's one of the only teams that's beaten our roster. And I think we went down 2-0, which is I'm pretty sure the only team we got 2-0'd on of the season with the new roster and all the changes. So that's why I put Rockport ahead. I thought that Rockport was just overall a better team. And that's just from our experiences. I haven't actually watched any of their games. So, it may have just been an off week for Listen to Your Heart. But I just, I had Rockport taking it just from the games we played and what I had seen in their gameplay.
Fair
Yes,
enough.
I concur.
And it also leads into the finals matchup, which is the revenge match for us, which is why I put it. I was feeling that was how it was going to play out, the revenge match for us.
Oh yeah, we would beat them in and put them in losers bracket. Is that how that works? And then beat them again in the final?
There isn't, as of right now, there isn't a bracket reset in place.
Oh, okay.
I don't actually think there's going to be, as of this current moment. That could change though, so don't take my word as gospel. But there's a chance that there could be, but as of this moment, if you win from the losers bracket, you take the series. It's a little complicated to try to get a bracket reset in there because, mentals, we have to move that to Saturday, play Sunday, or have it Sunday, then the next Sunday. That's just a lot of time to have to wait between games and have to deal with mentals and so playing and stuff. There's other ideas to have the winner take a free win in the finals, so you only have to win 2 more games instead of the 3. But as of right now, none of that's in place.
Yeah, I just think in Week 15 it'll be Rockport versus Collective Odyssey. Rockport's been a strong team throughout the whole entire thing. I feel like it also is, like a little revenge match for us. But I think that this time around when we face Rockport again at this point, because we would have played them in Week 11 and then Week 15 with my bracket predictions, I think that we would have been able to take them again because I feel like we have enough time together, enough experience, and I feel like we kind of know what to do against Rockport at this point. So we've looked at the games, we've seen what went wrong, and we've learned from it. I don't know if there's anything else you guys want to add, but I just feel like our mid laner is solid. Our jungler has always been pretty consistent. We may have a couple off games, but who doesn't? Top lane is really stable, doesn't turbo it, and our bot lane is a really strong bot lane, especially with them being related. So they have that that telepathic energy. So
Yep.
That'll do
we're
it.
just built different. We're built different, man.
Yeah,
No
we're
one can
built
touch
different.
us.
You're gonna take it apparently. Look forward to
Yeah,
seeing it though.
I don't see a single one of these people being a challenge for us. I mean, granted, we've never played 5 games, so it may be a little bit different with it being a 5 game series, and it is, But I think that overall, if Collective Odyssey is on their top game and they're locked in and ready to go, and they're not, they're playing their game and playing at their pace, and we have the strategies that we've come across that have helped us win the games through just picks bans and just an overall gameplay. I feel like they will definitely be a top contender, if not the person that will win it all or the team that will win it all. So that's why I put Collective Odyssey. It may be a little biased, obviously, because we're Collective Odyssey, but I just think that we, off of what I've seen as a coach and from the other teams, I didn't think there was a single team that just diffed us in player wise. I think it was just some team play macro diffs that just came from being a team longer, a complete team longer, and I think that it will be a pretty good game. I think they'll be intense. I'm not saying they're going to sweep. We're going to sweep every game. Obviously the tougher challenges we may lose 1 or 2 games, but I think overall, if it's a 5 game series, I think that this team has what it takes to beat them.
Fair enough. That's gonna be it then. You guys are gonna take the victory according to y'all. So look forward to seeing it.
Then we're going to Disney World.
Then we're going to Disney World. Unfortunately, we
Yeah,
cannot sponsor that one. So
and then get
Sorry.
crushed and die.
well,
It's all right.
good luck on your trip to Disney. But to get there, you gotta go through the playoffs first. So good luck with that one as well. And
Yeah.
that is all I got for y'all. So if you guys have any last statements you want to say, trash talk or whatever, put it out now or forever hold your peace.
Let's hear it, Morris. You wanted to talk some shit. Let's hear it.
I'm the best there is, plain and simple. When I wake up in the morning, I piss excellence.
You heard it here first.
Most importantly, if you ain't first, you're last.
Well, on that note, that's all I got for y'all, and thanks for coming out.
No problem. It was fun getting to do this. I enjoyed.
The next team we're going to be taking a look at the predictions for this playoff series is Listen to Your Heart. And more specifically, I am joined by Lost, Leo Lin, and Young. So if y'all want to say a little introduction about yourself, go for it.
Hey, my name is Leo. I'm the jungler for Listen to Your Heart, and my in-game name is Steve Tortilla.
My name is Young. I am the AD carry for Listen to Your Heart. My IGN is Young Mashu.
Perfect.
My name is Lost. I am coach, I guess, or manager.
We know who you are, Lost. You've been here enough. Without further ado, though, let's take a look at your predictions. So, right off the bat, Week 10, TSQA versus CO and OAM versus LC. And you guys have OAM and... Wait, what did you guys do?
You said, remember that A2 is going to
Oh,
go to...
wait, there's CO. I didn't see CO for a second. And
yeah.
You guys have OAM and CO winning respectively. Wow, I'm going insane. So if you guys want to talk about the Week 10 matchups, go for it.
So for the first matchup, TSQA versus CO, we played both of them recently. Our last 2 weeks was versus both teams, and we just thought Collective Odyssey was a better opponent than TSQA, especially after the AD carry changes with TSQA. And that's pretty much that. And for OAM versus Lit Club, I think OAM is just a better team in general than Lit Club, and that's pretty much it. I think they just have mostly all around for maybe mid. Yeah, probably have better players. And yeah, and AD carry, but yeah. That's our reasoning.
Yeah, I would have to agree with that. OAM just seemed better than Lit Club, and the 2 we played recently, TSQA just completely seemed to have terrible ADC situation, and it made their team a lot worse, I think.
Yeah, fair enough. An interesting question that I'll ask you guys, and I haven't asked anyone else. If you had the choice, and mind you, this is going public, so if you want to not comment on this, it's your call. Who would you rather play? Would you rather play the winner of TSQA and CL or OAM and LC?
I would choose OAM and LC
Yeah, probably so.
because Collective beats OAM recently, so I just think Collective is probably the strongest out of those four.
Fair enough.
Yeah, we also played against them recently, and yeah, I'm pretty sure we lost them.
Yeah, we
It was-
lost
it was a
quite
rough week.
hard.
It was a rough week.
Yeah.
Yep. Then week 11. So we start with the main winners bracket and the main losers bracket. We have Rockport versus Oasis, and Listen to Your Heart versus Collective in the winners, and the losers. We have the TSQ going against each other, TSQBB versus TSQA, and Hibernation versus Lit Club. If you guys want to talk about pretty much every matchup.
We can start off with the winners, right? So we chose Rockport, even though, we had some disagreements. It was only me. Everyone else chose Rockport, but yeah, I chose OAM, but everyone else chose
Bro,
Rockport.
just look at them in the standing. That's
I
why
know,
all of us
that's pretty
picked
much
him.
it, right? Like, so yeah, we just picked him because they've only lost one game, and it was against a strong TSQA, but I don't think TSQA is that strong anymore, and that's pretty much it. For us versus Collective, I think when we lost against Collective, it was like, I think it was only a second series together with the like 3 different players in 3 different roles and stuff like that. So we were just pretty much a new team. We had to work out some kinks and stuff like that, and I think we're just so much better now. So I think we'll be fine.
Yeah, pretty sure that series we had against them was the first time we had Young on our team, and just because of that, maybe we just didn't play as well together. Maybe not get enough synergy, and
So our picks, we just didn't know what to pick. We honestly just picked champions that we were individually best at instead of like team oriented picks because we didn't know what to pick for each other yet.
Yeah.
just moving forward, I feel like we've just improved over these last few weeks, and now I feel like we could beat them.
Right. For TSQBB versus TSQA, I think even with the different ADK, I don't think like it would matter at all.
Okay, this was his. I said TSQBB would win.
I don't think that it would matter at all. Like TSQA stomped TSQBB last series too, and like I don't think the AD change is gonna matter because I just think almost across the board TSQA has like better players. But yeah.
You gotta show them some faith. Like maybe they can pull out a win.
I think with like they'll have a better chance of winning, but I don't think they will because I think I feel like they know each other really well because when I just looked at their drafts because when they played and I saw like some really weird bans and stuff like that other teams weren't banning out when they were playing in CSK, so it's just interesting. So I feel like the teams do know each other well, so I just feel like even without being salty, I think TSK will still win because they just have too much like knowledge over TSKBB. And for the last game, it's HN versus Lit Club. Do you guys want to?
This was our coach's decision, none of ours.
Oh, yo, chill, guys.
This was not my opinion. This was his.
Yeah. So I don't know. We chose HN. Me and some other people. Those two might have said Lit Club, but mostly because of I think HN's jungler is just better. But I don't know. Their mid laners might be a bit worse, but I don't think he's that much worse than the mid laner for Lit Club. But I think the jungler is a lot better in HN than for Lit Club. And that's pretty much why I'm deciding on HN. I know their series was really close, but I don't know. The drafts are just like all over the place when they played. I don't know what happened in their like exhibition match, but yeah.
And then not lost. Leo and Young, you guys said that Lit Club was gonna win, even though it doesn't show here. What's your reasoning for that one?
I mean, I played against them. I thought, sure, we kind of stomped them when we played them, but I feel like if they just worked on their faults, I feel like they could actually be pretty strong. I honestly don't know if I even played against Hibernation because I joined like halfway. Yeah, but yeah,
I didn't play against either. I
Yeah.
just read the stat lines and just read how they just read some
Yeah.
stats, and I just thought like club would do better.
Fair enough. The stats don't lie. They do not lie. Anyways, let's move on to week 12, where we have you guys playing number 1 seed Rockport.
Yeah.
We're gonna beat them. No questions asked.
Yep, exactly, bro. I know we played them in like week 2, and we were really bad throughout like our first 3 to 4 weeks. I think we were not even that good. Like we started off 1-2, but it was like it became 2-2, 2-1 because the trench shit. But we lost against the trench. But so I don't know. In our early weeks, I don't think we were that good, and we just had a lot of stuff to work out. We had like our roster changes a lot from the beginning too. And yeah, so we're kind of like a completely different new team. And I honestly think, I don't know. I don't know when Boswell is coming back, but if Boswell is back, then I think the series will be a lot closer. But yeah, I think our balling is going to be better than theirs.
So
And
Bostrol, I believe, will be back for the time this game is played, so you will have to play
yeah,
against him.
it'll be closer, but I still think our balling will be better.
Fair enough.
Because I think, yeah, I legit think Rockport wins so much to their balling just being a lot better than a lot of leagues balling. That's why I think TSQA had such a close match or beat Rockport is because their balling just didn't roll over and die.
And then moving on to the losers bracket, we got the 2 games there. You have TSQA versus OAM and Hibernation versus CO.
Do you guys want to go with TSQA?
So OEM TSQA. I think OEM just like again the 80 carry situation for TSQA. I think that's why OEM would win. And Collective Odyssey versus Hibernation. Collective Odyssey. I just think they're better. I mean, we lost to them, so I think they would win it out.
Yeah, I mean, I'm kind of low-key traumatized from that game. The series we played against them, like they left a pretty good impression. So yeah, I feel like they're pretty strong, and yeah, I just don't see them losing against Hibernation.
Yeah, fair enough. Moving on, week 13, the only one game we got this week, just in the losers bracket. A little weird, but OAM versus CO. You guys have CO taking this.
No. We have Rockport win. Oh wait.
No.
No, no, no.
13,
Sorry.
13, not 14.
13.
My
Yeah.
bad. My bad. Yeah, we have CO winning. Because I think CO won this week just now against OAM, right? And it was like OAM won game 1, but CO just won 2 games in a row, like back to back. So I think they'll probably just take it again versus OAM.
Yeah, I mean, I literally just said this, but yeah, I just think Collective Odyssey is just a really good team, and yeah, I'm pretty sure they could pull it off.
Fair enough. Now we got week 14, where Rockport and CO are playing each other. You guys have Rockport taking this one.
Yeah, we just think Rockport's like probably the best team after us, of course,
You gotta be
Bro,
confident.
Hey, you gotta have
yeah,
faith in yourself.
Yeah, so we think Rockport is like probably just ahead above most of the teams here. So, and I just think there's like a weird situation with Collective Odyssey. I know like they're having like some weird roster swaps. Like right before our game, Collective Odyssey changed like had to ease up their top laner because their top laner got a 14-day ban, right? So now they have like they had this weird roster change. Like even last game, I think their jungler and their top laner were different than even our series. So I'm not 100% sure like what's going on, but I still think they'll be better than most of the teams. But I don't think they'll be Rockport just because I'm not sure what their roster situation is going on.
Yeah, makes sense. And then we're back to the finals, back in the winners bracket, and you guys have a game again. So the repeat of week 12, Listen to Your Heart versus Rockport. And you guys have yourselves taking the entire game. So what's up with that? You guys have faith?
Yes,
Yeah,
sir.
bro.
Yes.
So is that blind faith, or we actually got some plans already?
No, I think I mean I don't know how to. I don't know. It'll be like I think the games will be close. Like I think the games will be close. Just because I think it's just like I don't know. I don't have a lot of faith in Rockport's jungler. Like I think I've already mentioned this like multiple times, like in a bunch of talks. But yeah, I just think they're balling. If they don't get ahead, they're not gonna be as strong. But yeah.
Yeah, have faith in yourself. And if this was going to be a best of 5, what would you predict the outcome of the match to be? 3-2, 3-1, 3-0,
3-1 to us.
3-1.
Yeah.
You guys are the
for-
first team to actually say a 3-1.
Did
Everyone
some
else
team
has
say
said 3-0 or
3-0?
3-2.
Yeah, we're confident in 3-1 totally, but we're not
Yeah.
that confident in 3-0. We can't be cocky.
Fair enough.
That one game is where we like just our inner int just goes out. We're gonna int one game randomly.
Hey,
We're just, experimenting.
get it all out in one game instead of over the course of the series.
Yeah.
Like, honestly, you want to run it down a game? Have fun for it, but keep it to the one. With that being said, though, is there any other Flame Trash Talk predictions you want to make, or we good here?
Nah, I don't want to make any. I could, but it's no point.
Yeah, I think Lars has some stuff to say about Lit Club.
Yeah, I mean,
Nah, bro, I don't have
if
anything to
if he
say.
wants to say them, he can go ahead.
I don't have anything to say about Loco, bro. It's fine. Honestly, like I'm just saying, the Rockport versus the OM game in week 11, if it happens, I think it'll be pretty close. Like, their last series was really close, and I know like there's some like drama about who the support was and whatnot, but I don't think that really matters too much. But that series was so close. If OM's balling wasn't like half dead that series, like I think OM would have won like 2-1 or even 2-0. But their balling just hard trolled them so hard in that game. It was kind of gross. But they also had their jungler or like their sub jungler starting mid, so I don't know. Maybe it changes stuff, but we'll see.
That we will. Anyways, thanks for coming out, sharing your predictions for the brackets and stuff. And we will. Good luck on your playoffs, and we'll see you on the Rift.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello again. We have now the final team, or the final team, if I said it last time. I don't know. We now have Hibernation here. More specifically, we have Kopek and Ouchmouse here. So if y'all want to say hi, go for it.
What's up?
Hey, what's going on?
Yep.
I'm Ouchmouse. Sorry. I should introduce myself too, I guess.
Yeah, I'm Kopek captain, just doing the usual.
Fair enough. Without further ado, though, let's hop right into the predictions. So, for week 10, the standard week, we got TSQA versus CO and OAM versus LC. You guys have TSQA and Lit Club taking the victories in those two matchups. So if y'all want to talk about that for a little bit, go for it.
Even though I think they have shown a lot of improvements, also by improving the roster after they lost to us, I still think TSQA is going to be better. We'll probably pull out the win there. OAM versus Lit Club. So when we played against Oasis, they didn't have feathers, which is actually kind of like was a buff to them, and they had Survanderfell, which I think he single-handedly won them our series against us. And with Survanderfell gone, I think that they are a bit weaker team. And yeah, I think Lit Club, by both playing against them and scrimming against them, they are a very solid team. Yeah, and I think I think the thing with Lit Club 2 is that their solo laners are both they're both very good players, I would say, to the point where those two could probably carry that team pretty far, even against some of the other better teams in the league.
Yeah, I also kind of agreed with the way that Kopek arranged the bracket here.
Drop 3 other players
I
from the
know.
series.
Hey,
I
can
know,
you
but
repeat that?
it's
You cut
still-
out really badly
it's-
for me.
Hmm?
Can you repeat that? You cut out really badly for me.
So the collective, they dropped 3 of their players after our series. After the
Okay.
Hibernation series was the collective. They 3 of their players left the team. So it's pretty much like a new team from that point onwards. But
I completely understand you. I'm just trying to strict talk here, go back.
I mean, no, we
Okay.
gotta be real.
But no, okay. So for real though, I did see TSQA winning over CO though. I think TSQA just does really well together, and like, I mean, they're literally the team that's going to be able to actually compete against Rockport. Even though I still think Rockport's going to win in the end, especially in week 11. So we're going to kind of see the matchup that I was kind of hoping would be the last one, kind of like early on. So I'm a little upset about that, but because I'm a sucker for drama, not drama, but like suspense, I guess. I don't know, but what was your decision again on OAM versus LC? Because I mean, you said that OAM loses.
I said Literature Club would win.
Yeah, like I don't know about that. Like that's just that I personally saw Literature Club losing against OAM, but I don't know. They usually they've been performing pretty well in their games that I've caught.
I think Literature Club is a very very underrated team, and I think they have also improved a ton from the start of the season, which is like a lot to say for teams because it's a struggle enough as it is. I think for a lot of teams, it's a struggle enough as it is to play consistently throughout the 8 or 9 weeks, or to have never mind an actual same roster for 8 or 9 weeks. So I think it shows a lot when same 5 players can stay on a roster and then also improve on top of that. Yeah, I think that's most of my thoughts regarding that week 10 series. Yeah, IGA is a pretty good player.
Yeah.
And he will flame first, but I do believe it's LGA.
Or LGA.
Yeah, it is LGA, I believe.
I didn't know either, so it's
we can never tell. He always capitalizes the L on some things, make it look like the I, and then doesn't capitalize it. Other places make it look like the L, so we can never tell. But Mr. Letter GA is a very solid mid laner. Moving on though. Let me interrupt you.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you were gonna like keep going. Okay, so do you want to just move on to week 11? So again,
yeah,
I'm a little just disappointed by week 11 by the fact that Rockport and TSQA are going up against each other so early on. Just because I thought those two would probably they literally do represent the two biggest teams in this tournament. So it's like
at this point, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, they've both performed exceptionally well, and like, not gonna lie, I totally was not expecting to win when we went up against Rockport, and I can't remember our game against TSQA, but I'm assuming we lost.
Let me pull it up real quick.
And unfortunately, I saw OAM beating Literature Club, but you have Literature Club moving on, which I wouldn't mind. Like, you're right. I definitely like the fact that they are one of the few teams that have still held on to their original comp throughout this entire series.
Oh, we actually went 2-1 against them.
Well,
so
I mean,
yeah.
Well,
Actually,
what week was that? What week was that?
It was the 31st of January. It was I think it was pretty early on. I think it was our second game. Yeah, I think it was our second game because we played against.
So that was the team we got when we had Punch, right? That was our first game when we had Punch.
Yeah, that was the first. I think that was the first week with Punch.
I think the only reason why we won that game was because
we were playing. No, that was the game. No, that was the game 2 where we went. Where we played like Fiddlesticks Galio Malphite.
Yeah, like I feel like, well, so that early on in the series, it just feels like no one really knows what each other's play styles are, and layering CC and them not knowing that I'm not terrible at Fiddlesticks, and your Galio is pretty nuts. I honestly wish you played it more. But I mean, layering CC on a team just can't really do a whole lot, especially if they first get caught out by the Fiddlesticks ult, followed up by a Malphite ult, followed up by So
Yeah,
we just caught them off guard, I think, in that week. Plus, it was still early on. Where
I mean, hard for. I mean, there's a reason why Malphite is like pretty good even in like low elo. He's just very like we're these champions are good without gold or like without gold or if they're behind, but like even when they're ahead, they're even more impressive, right? So I think especially that's the other thing too is that they don't have Bean Salty, right? Am I correct on that, Neptune?
Bean Salty, I don't believe is eligible to play anymore.
Yeah, exactly, right? Yeah, so that actually changes things. I think because Bean Salty, from my remembrance, was like a pretty big like he was pretty big factor for like their team's success. And I think their most recent ADCs like been doing fine, but at the same time, I think that's like something. Uh, yeah, Quartz Hill. He played their last game. Yeah, I mean they still lost 2-0 to Lisa. Lisa to your heart. What did I have them losing? I had them losing to us. Yeah, no, I'm pretty. Yeah,
Well,
I definitely think that this team is quite a bit weaker now. So I still think they're pretty. I still think they're pretty decent.
Don't want to rush the conversation, but let's quickly move on to the next couple matchups.
Sure.
Okay.
With
Do you want us to only focus on the winners bracket, or
No, we go to the wall. So we got
Okay.
Listen to Your Heart Now versus Lit Club. So first impressions are, you guys said Lit Club were winning this. What's up with that? It's a huge upset.
You think it's a huge upset? I think their soul. I think their soul laners are like. I think their soul laners like gap most of the league. I'd almost argue they gap Rockport's. So I could probably argue that they gap Rockport's soul laners.
Only reason it's a big upset is just because they're the number 2 seed.
Well, okay, I guess that's true, but I mean, I'm not a big fan of just like saying, okay, the standings are like how the tournament's going to go out is okay. First place is going to win the whole thing. Second place is going to get the finals. Like I just don't like. In my opinion, that is not the best type of analysis that you could do, and at least from my experience of playing as actually playing against all these teams, I think that Literature Club Soul Laners were the most effective in terms of like from laning phase to playing out mid to late game team fights and even split pushing in their win against us with the Fiora.
Yeah. So do you mind if I step in here?
Okay.
So like what I think Kopech's talking about here, and I don't agree with him with Literature Club winning against OAM, but I do see the logic behind it because Literature Club I feel like is a very coin flip team, and that's no really insult against them. And like I know I've tried to shit talk before, but like this actually isn't an insult against them. Like they know how to snowball. They know how to snowball, and if they can get like that Fiora ahead, they don't have to worry about whatever lane she's up against because I mean Fiora is a strong champion by herself. Like she doesn't need to be camped by the jungle. She just needs one kill, one help by her jungler to come in and actually just tear the enemy top laner a new one. But that's the thing why I don't agree why Literature Club would move on is because I'm pretty sure a lot of the teams in this league now know how to not feed anymore. I mean, I agree with you that if those solo laners get ahead, they can definitely dominate. But I'm pretty sure a lot of the teams now, especially Lee Sin or Hardau and OAM, can fight against that, or at least be defensive enough to where they can take advantage of split pushers.
Wait, was Wiggy playing AD carry? I'm just noticing that. I'm looking at Listen to Your Heart's games, and I see like against TSQPB he was playing AD carry. What?
So teams have switched up their rosters a little bit and done some roster swaps to try to keep things a little hidden, to try to bring some new things out, and you can't really blame them. So
that's fair.
I guess so.
Yep. That's all there is. Moving on to the TSQPB versus CO matchup. You guys have CO winning, which I can't say is entirely unseen.
Yeah.
That one's.
I don't think there's not much to talk about this series. I think both teams are pretty bad, and I think that I mean,
it's going to be a gold and silver game,
and that's probably saying it at its best.
Yes.
Then we got the Hibernation versus Oasis game, and you guys have another big upset here with Hibernation winning. Is that just blind faith in yourself?
Are you just gonna say every single one of our games is a big upset? Like,
well, I think he's saying it's a big upset because you have OAM losing in the losers bracket.
You have OAM losing, going from the fourth seed to out of the bracket in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Which is pretty big considering how they've had a nice little run recently.
I would say for our team, we haven't had a solid constructed team for the majority of this league. We started out with a very poor team comp. We didn't know who was going where. I was still learning jungle, and like I didn't effectively know how to play jungle until like week 6 or 7. And I didn't like playing jungle either. Like I knew how to play at that point, but
then at that point too, you also then swapped to support.
Mm-hmm.
So,
and I mean, well, so where I think where we're at now, I think we finally actually picked up our rhythm. We know how to play around our champs. We know what the shot calls are. We know actually how to play around each other. Like we haven't learned how to play each other throughout this entire season until now, and I feel like now we can actually do something.
Okay.
So watch out for Hibernation in the next coming games.
Yeah, I think I think the standings are not indicative of how close all the teams are.
Yeah, that's definitely true.
That's true.
And I have faith in our team to do well against all of these teams. I think all of the teams that we are up against in this bracket are winnable. With Lee Sin and Literature Club in particular being pretty hard. Those will probably be pretty hard games. But I think the rest of them they're definitely winnable, and I have faith in my teammates, so that's why I have us winning these games.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, sounds good. Moving up to week 12 winners then. We got Rockport versus Lit Club, and then we're gonna hop into week 15.
Yep.
So you guys have Rockport winning this.
I mean,
I think it's Rockport. I think like the thing that like I think their bot lane is so good that the team just has to do absolutely nothing for 15 minutes, and then the AD carry ends up getting like 13 kills. Or not like 13 kills for 15 minutes, like probably 13 kills by like 20 minutes. But you get what I'm saying? Like their soul laners don't have to do absolutely fuck all, and their jungler just has to like full clear. And I think their bot lane is going to automatically beat any other bot lane in this league. Unfortunately.
Mm-hmm.
So even though I think Literature Club could probably get some advantages out of the solo lanes. I think just the champions that that team likes to play, sort of for the mid lane with the Anivia and the Victor. They could sort of limit the amount of advantages that Literature Club can get from their solo lanes. And I think that, yeah, I mean, I don't think there's any bot lane that could really contest Rockport's bot lane. IMO.
Yeah, I mean, I can't really say anything else besides what Kopek said. He's like 100% right. Rockport's just such a strong and solid team. Their bot lane is really freaking good. Their jungle is always there, and he like I don't want to say anything that Kopek has already said because I don't want to repeat time because I know we're short on time. So do we want to just move on then?
Let's do it. Let's hop into the
Okay.
finals then. So we got Rockport versus Hibernation. And you guys have Rockport winning this. Do you think this
Yeah.
will be a close series? A pretty blowout?
I mean,
I'm
I
not-
would hope it's a close series.
I am not sure. I think if you were to point a gun to my head and say like what's the like the game record or whatever, I would probably have to say like 3-1. Like I definitely think we could take a game off of them if we play well. It might just be hard to repeat that for 3 games in a row, or for 3 games to get a series win.
Yeah. That's a pretty common consensus.
Because I'd imagine most of the other teams have Rockport winning the whole thing. And if I was a betting man, that I could probably bet like $100 on that. That most teams would have Rockport winning the whole thing.
Well, then you would be $100 poorer, so.
Really? So we have some ego. We have some ego.
There's been some ego. There's been some other stuff.
There,
But we're looking forward to it, though.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it'll be interesting.
That it will be. Anyways, y'all, with that being said, thanks for coming out, giving your predictions on the brackets and the playoffs. Good luck in your entire playoff series. You do have a nice little bye for this week, so take some time to look at all the games, figure out what you're going to do, build a game plan. And yeah, thanks for hopping out, and good luck. See you on the Rift.
All right.
Hello, and welcome back to once again another prediction bracket review. Today I am joined by Oasis Maelstrom, the team, and more specifically, May, the support for the team.
Hi, hello everybody. Thanks for having me.
Yeah.
So predictions. This is like a toughie since even for LCS, it's never like my strong point, but I do like to entertain it. Just a disclaimer I'm gonna throw out there. I remember like my memory with a lot of the games have like come and go, and have been fortunate enough to play with everyone at least once or twice. So like it's very like, so please don't take any offense to any of these predictions or anything I say. I'm sure everyone played very well this season, so it was really enjoyable Affliction overall.
Yeah. And no one's gonna get mad at you. If they are, it's completely unintentional, so you're good. There's been
It's
flame in
nothing
all of
offense,
these.
yeah.
There's been flame in
Yeah.
all of them so far, so you'll
Yeah.
be fine. Without further ado, though, let's take a look at some of your predictions that you have.
Yeah.
If it ever decides to load on my end. There we go. Okay. So, week 10, first week of playoffs. TSQA versus CO and OAM versus LC, the standards for everyone.
Okay.
So you have...
Of course.
Ah, there it is. Okay. You have TSQA winning over CO and Oasis Maelstrom winning over LC. You want to talk about both those matchups?
So I'll be real with you. I literally was like OAM all the way.
Hey.
So Okay, so I can't really say much. Okay, so from my first understanding of TSQA versus Collective Odyssey, they're very good. Both of them are very strong. You know, the fortunate part is, like a lot of these things is that stats really like reflect a lot about how the players' performances have been during their time in Affliction. So like I said, I'm going off of memory of like how my games were in general. Okay, so with Collective Odyssey, I do say like their bot side was very good. I think their AD carry is actually really good. He's probably their strongest player in my opinion. But with TSQ, I think they're just generally a very macro-oriented team. And I think they will, if they keep to their strong point, I think they will win versus where I think Collective Odyssey just has like a few players who are doing really well, but I do think they struggle in macro calls like mid to late game. So I don't know, perhaps they may have improved upon it, but that's why I put TSQA is progressing first them.
Yeah, no, it makes perfect sense. And then Oasis versus Lit Club. So that's one you should know a little bit better.
Yeah, so you know, it's Oasis. I'm gonna be really biased. Nothing against Lit Club, but you know, I'm an Oasis fangirl, so
Hey, you gotta have faith in yourself. So
exactly. I hope we shit on you.
you heard it from her first.
If I don't, yeah, I'll eat my words. Don't worry.
It's okay, I'll start in losers bracket then. So
Yeah.
then week 11 we have Rockport versus Oasis, Listen to Your Heart versus TSQA in the winners. In the losers bracket, TSQBB versus CO, and Hibernations versus Lit Club. Let's start off with the winners bracket. Mainly your guys' match versus Rockport.
I do like Rockport. I actually understand, like, you know, just facing them that they're very, very strong team. I know, I just remember when I rewatched a lot of that game that we did lose versus them. I noticed that they got, I don't know, I say they got lucky. My teammates just really had a really bad day versus them, and I feel like we kind of gave up a lot. I do think there are strong opponents, but I also think there are a lot of weaknesses on them. I can't really like identify that since I'm just basing it off of my game. Perhaps other players have had better like I don't know, luck with them, like, or in terms of how they play versus them. But when we versed them, I just felt like we just made very sloppy plays. I do remember their mid laner having a lot of abusable, like he's an assassin player, so it's they just play the meta well. That's basically what I'm trying to get at. Like these guys know how to play the meta very well, so they're abusing a lot of players who don't know how to counterplay versus some of their champions. So I'm not saying they're bad. Like by any means, they're just very good at playing the meta. I just think that if a player knew how to abuse a lot of the champions, I just don't think they'll make it out. As a team, though, I just think that individually they have very strong mechanics on their players. I just don't think as a team they're very strong. So they're just a bunch of 5 players who know how to abuse the meta. That's how I see it. So yes, I think as a team, my team is a lot stronger. I feel like we just better mesh as a team. So I hope we fucking shit on them as well. That's what I'm saying. Oh my god, this is so bad. Neptune, are you still there?
Hey, they're a strong team. You gotta beat them all. So
Yeah.
sometimes it
So
just is what
sorry.
it is. You gotta hope
Oh
to
my
beat
God.
them hard. I mean, only
Yeah.
one team has beat them so far, and they beat them really cleanly. So you gotta hope that you can follow suit.
Yeah, no, I agree.
So
I
yeah, it
hope
makes
so.
sense. Then we have the next one between Listen to Your Heart and TSQA. So another one of
Uh-huh.
the big battles here.
Yeah. I just like TSQA in general versus Leeson.
Couldn't happen to anything to do with their TSQA beating the #1 seed, could it?
Wait, did they? Shit.
TSQA did beat Rockport.
That is amazing. Good for them, my dudes. I think that I just don't really, like I said, I don't really know many players individually. Like statistically, I don't understand their well. I'm just basing off of memory, and honestly, TSQA stuck out more to me than I did of Lee and Tia Hut. So I like the name, by the way, but other than that, I don't really know much about them. So I'll be sorry, and I just went biased, and I was like TSQA.
Hey,
I know a lot.
they got the
I
shot
remember
for it.
seeing them more. Yeah, I just remember seeing them more.
Yeah, both
So
teams
we'll
are
just
good.
go
So
there.
yeah,
Yeah. If that's the case, I didn't even know. Whatever. Liz had beat RPT. That's kudos to you guys. Great job in doing that.
yeah. So then we got TSQBB versus CO.
Hmm.
And you have TSQBB progressing forwards here.
Yeah.
So are you a member of the TSQBB fan club?
I don't know. I kind of am. I think it sounds like I am. Yeah. I think so.
I'll have to
In
hit
a
you up
way.
with the role. But
Yeah, please. Thank you.
yeah, but TSQBB versus CO, that's an interesting matchup. I'm assuming you
I know
think
TSQBB hasn't had the greatest game, but I just, you know what? I believe in them. So.
hey, you gotta have faith in them.
Yeah, let me look back at what was it that I thought about this team, if I can remember anything.
So CO recently has changed up their roster a fair bit. They got YOLO Swag as the mid laner.
Yeah. That's
And
true. That's
Jarny's
true.
been
That's
playing
true.
better a little bit as well. But
Mhm.
TSQBB does have Potato Tomato, who's one of the better top laners in the league.
Mhm.
And CO's top laner isn't as good, so if Potato Tomato can get a good lead, he can definitely snowball that game.
I guess you know what? I'm just gonna hype on the TSQ train. I'm hoping for, I guess, a lot of the underdogs to kind of make it out of here. Yeah, you know what? I'm going for the underdog, so.
Yeah, and you prove it right in your next pick. Hibernation versus Lit Club, another big underdog progressor here. Hibernation
Yeah.
taking it over Lit Club. What led you
Mhm.
for that one?
I know, it's such a troll, man. Let me think about this one. Um, what was it about hibernation? I want to say, you know what? I gotta admit, a lot of these teams have solid mid laners.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I'm not really convinced by some of these bots, other than maybe CO's bot. You know what? I'm just gonna say the mid lane Kovic is really striking me. Like, I think he's good, and their top lane is decent as well. You know what? I'm just gonna root for them, even though they're struggling in this series. I'm gonna give it to them. Yeah,
Hey, makes sense.
Oh my god, I'm gonna literally like words. I know it. I'm gonna eat them.
You're not gonna eat them.
I'm just hoping, I just root for those. Like, a lot of people change and people learn a lot. So I give them I believe they can do the same as well.
There you go. Heard it here first. Now we have the next matchup. Which is the Rockport versus. Oh wait, no, I'm missing a week. We have Oasis versus TSQA. And you guys have Oasis taking this one. Well, obviously Oasis taking this.
Of course, I'm gonna be 100% behind my team. We're gonna try to take this all the way to the end. The spring victors.
Gotta have faith in yourself.
Exactly. So yeah, that leaves to the loser bracket. So I did hear put Rockport. Maybe they'll come back. They had a shit week, then they come back.
Yeah, I really unofficially can't say this, but I don't really think TSQB has much of a chance against Rockport.
Oh.
I mean,
well, you never know. You never know, man. I mean, I just put Rockport because I can't discredit there are still good players on that. Just if they had a shit week, then they're gonna come back. I mean, the stats, at least the standings, speak for themselves. So I'll give Rockport that time. Maybe they'll come back. They'll learn, and then they'll come back with vengeance, and then they'll just win.
Yeah. And win they shall. Next game, we have Hibernation versus Listen to Your Heart, and you have another underdog pick here. This is by far one of the crazier ones, too. Hibernation beats number 2 seed Listen to Your Heart.
You know, you really start to wonder, did this chick even look at the fucking standings? Lol. Yikes. Okay, you know what? Some players are adapting, and I'm gonna say that Hibernation is that team that's really good at adapting. So even though they were struggling, I still think they can make it out. I don't know why did I even think Lisa. I like Listen to Your Heart too, but hold on, let me look at this again. I have to change this. Hold on.
Oh no,
hold
it's
on.
too late to change this now. This is officially on stream recorded.
No, you know what? I think I'm gonna stick with it. Yeah. I'm
Yeah.
sticking with this one. I just don't remember their bot side. I just remember their mid laner and their top laner. That's all I remember. Sometimes I feel like that's all that fucking matters. Your solo laners are winning, and the bot lane can do whatever the fuck they want. So
Yeah. I do feel like that sometimes.
yeah, it does. So I just think, I'm just gonna keep going. Hibernation it is all the way.
Hibernation all the way. Well, apparently not for very much longer. Wait, what happens here? Okay, well, wait, the bracket's a little bit wrong here. Instead of TSQA, we meant to put Hibernation.
What did I do wrong? Okay, let me
it's
messed
fine.
up.
Don't worry about it. TSQA is supposed to be Hibernation against Rockport. No one saw that. It's totally not there, and I'm not fixing it with editing magic either, so no one sees it.
Oh, hold on, I can fix it. Wait, I have it still up. Wait, what do I fix?
No, it's too late for you. I have it saved as a screenshot.
Damn, feels bad, man.
Yeah, it does. Doesn't matter though.
Okay.
TSQA should be Hibernation.
Okay, yeah, this is actually what I really would love to see. TSQ babies like kicking ass against one of their really challenging teams. So
wait a second.
Did I fuck this up?
No, Rockport versus Hibernation. That's what we're looking at right now. Rockport Hibernation. You got Rockport winning, right?
Correct.
Okay, moving on.
Gotcha.
Week 14. TSQA was in the winners bracket, so they didn't miraculously move down. Oh, wait, yes they did. Okay, now we're in the right spot.
Okay.
Well, forget everything I just said. I'm an idiot. We're gonna pretend that didn't happen.
Oh well, I did this right. Let's go.
Nah, I know now I look like an idiot.
No.
It's fine.
You're Gucci.
TSQA versus Rockport. I don't know why I thought TSQA won. So this is a repeat match and the only loss that Rockport has so far, and you have Rockport coming back and taking this from them.
I gotta give it to them though. Sometimes I'm not underestimating Rockport's ability to take away this victory. Obviously, they've shown through this season that they're a very strong team. When I just I can't say when we missed and we did very well, but I mean I've identified that we're very strong players. So I do think that sometimes you can just have a bad week. In this whole entire competition. So, they're still going to make it out. They're going to come back. They'll come back.
That they will. And then for the finals, week 15, 5-2, we have Oasis versus Rockport. And you have Oasis taking it all.
Yeah, so I got to say it's going to be a best of 5. And, in the end, everyone can play very well. I just think that my team has always been a very mental, strong team. Despite having losses in our scores in the season, I just always seen my team always coming back with hungry more and looking to win. So they never step back from a challenge. So I believe my team will ultimately win just through mental.
Yeah. And what do you think the series is going to go to?
What do you mean by that? Sorry.
So it's a best of 5. So what do you think the end result's going to be? 3-2, 3-0, 3-1?
I'll give them the benefit of the doubt. I'll give it 3-2.
3-2. So far, everyone's agreed that the final is going to be either a sweep with the overconfidence or 3-2. So
it's always been. I feel like whenever I've seen best of 5s, it's always been a 3-2. Nobody really hard sweeps unless they're fucking smurfing in this gold elo games. So I think that a lot of us have like all of us in this whole season have been just competitively very good, always bringing the A game. So this is going to be fun to watch.
Yeah,
For
all of these games will be.
Yeah, so I'm looking forward to it. And of course, like I said, I may probably eat a lot of my words, but you know what? Fucking Oasis for the win. So,
Hey, you gotta have faith in yourself. You proved it
exactly.
here, so hey, good
Yeah,
luck on your
I
playoff
really appreciate
series.
it. Yeah, this was fun. Thanks so much for talking and letting me on the prediction panel. Hope that everyone does well, and good luck to everyone.
Yeah, and that's all, y'all.
Sweetness.